this individual named Chris Tyson that worked with him, and with some of the folks that worked with him that do not work there anymore, have a lot of things to say about Mr. Beast, and it becomes a whole Discord issue, and so on and so forth. It almost seems like there's some legal stuff getting a brewing here, folks. So anyway, let me know what you folks think about that little breakdown from your boy. We're gonna watch Upper Echelon's breakdown of what's going on with Mr. Beast and his media empire. Let's go.
All right, before you watch this, if you haven't already, press pause. What I'm discussing today is predicated on ex-employee testimony from a man named Jake Weddle, who worked at Mr. Beast in 2019 and
Stand-up comedian. I used to work for Mr. Beast. Now I work for myself. Mr. Beast's accountant. What it's like to be Mr. Beast's accountant. Jake Weddle. So this guy was he used to be Mr. Beast's accountant, and now he's a comedian. That's a very interesting fallback, right?
2020, who has just now done a public interview about his experiences at the company, posted by Dogpack 404. I'm going to link to both of their channels down below in the description, as well as that newest video, and I encourage everyone to go watch it. It's pretty powerful stuff. It contains a lot of very serious allegations, and it's the basis for what I want to focus on right now, so it's a good thing to go watch that before you click resume. I'll do a short summary, of course, but that video has vocalized a few things that really need to be seen in proper context. So again, there's a new video from Dogpack 404 interviewing former Mr. Beast employee Jake Weddle, and it deserves to be seen. Okay, assuming that all of you watching here forward have seen that video, I'm going to go out on a limb here and also assume that you'll fully understand why my tone is about to shift. The stuff that this company has done is disgusting, and I'm starting to hold a personal belief here that some degree of complicity is flat out required. Otherwise, we would never actually be in this horrible situation. I'll do a short form summary here for those that need it, but I can't state this firmly enough. You need to watch the actual interview. It's rather emotional at times. It contains testimony that until now never received proper attention, and it raises serious questions about ethics and behavior. But yeah, here's a quick summary.
I mean, dude, this is insane. It's like, this guy's Mr. Beast. He's just supposed to be making videos, bro. Like, why is all these important words that you just wouldn't want to have tied to your name, being a millionaire or billionaire or whatever, and being around children? Like, you would not want any of this stuff to be tied around you. Like, this guy's supposed to be making videos, bro.
Jake Weddle is a former Mr. Beast crew member and camera personality who participated in multiple skits and videos about 4 to 5 years ago. His role was somewhat secondary, taking part in pranks or challenges where he would directly fake his reactions and play into the jokes as best he could. But it wasn't until after he was let go from the company, let go because he attempted to negotiate better pay and benefits for himself and one other employee, that things got really bad. Jake was offered an opportunity that they pitched to him as some sort of easygoing luxury vacation type challenge where he would be spending 100 days in isolation. He was told they needed roughly 30 days to actually make the video, 30 days of footage, and he was chosen because he remained on relatively good standing with the company after departure. That's the game, by the way. Play nice, and maybe Jimmy gives you a chance to dance for the camera and shove a little money up your asshole, but this challenge went decidedly horribly wrong. The video itself never got released because the conditions they subjected him to were inhumane. For the sake of content, they put this man in a room with an ice cream machine and a hot tub and fluorescent lights with fresh paint, but they never turned the lights off. Never. The ice cream machine would either bombard him with never-ending noise or assault his sense of smell with mildew and dairy mold, while the hot tub began to stink very quickly because it was never hooked up to a proper filtration system. Small complaints, you might say. Some of you definitely will say that in the comment section, but when losing access to the sun, Jake lost access to his circadian rhythm. He experienced acute insomnia, which may even be the root cause for future insomnia that he then experienced. And with no access to clocks, he became the guy in the cage for content, where Jimmy would occasionally drop by and ask him to say things like, "Thank you for the money, now I can pay my student loans," so he would appear more grateful for the camera. There's a lot of very, very personal testimony he gives, and honestly, I just wouldn't do it justice by summarizing, but the end result is that he would face a tremendous amount of pressure to conform. Mr. Beast was spending a ridiculous amount of money on the set, he was spending a ridiculous amount of money on the equipment and the labor, all for the sake of a video, which would recoup those losses if it was entertaining enough, thereby leaving Jake as the one very human keystone point of failure in the media machine. The pressure to conform was palpable, even to a point where he was told that one of the smaller challenges was running a literal marathon on a treadmill, and he tried, to the detriment of his own body. What resulted is quite honestly tragic, but again, you should hear these things from him, not some other YouTuber summary. His testimony speaks to something a lot of us already felt in our bones. We just didn't have the evidence of it. Mr. Beast, in my opinion, is ruthlessly exploitative. But towards the end of the video, we get something else, something alarming, and something that happens to synchronize in one of the worst ways possible with prior revelations about Beast employee behavior. Jake Weddle, when asked about .pdf files at the company, if you know what I mean, disclosed that a staff member named Delaware was actually a convicted... I'm not actually going to say it. I'll just show it on screen. The victim was between 1 and 11 years old. This is where it gets tricky. My role here is not to witch hunt a specific employee of Mr.
Who is this still? Huh?
Mr. Beast, who may not even work at the company anymore, though his address is still listed as Greenville, North Carolina in the registry, which is also where Beast Holdings LLC is located. The crime was committed 14 years ago. I'm not plastering his face and address all over a YouTube video at the height of what seems like online rage on the subject. If you wanted to find those details, you could. I'm not really able to deprive anyone of that outcome, but I'm certainly not going to actively participate in it. However, what we learned from the Jake Weddle interview has pretty intense implications on a broader level, and that's where I want to put my focus. This man, referred to as Delaware, is not actually named Delaware. It's his nickname, because he allegedly couldn't go back to the state of Delaware as a result of his crimes. However, Mr. Beast allowed this man to not only be employed at the company.
Once again, you do not want to have stuff like that tied to your name, man. This dude can't go back to... It's not funny, man. It's not funny at all. People like read that, right? So why is this person like... Here's my thing, though. Why is this person hanging around Mr. But like, why is this person's name tied with Mr. Beast? Like, dude, this is already sounding like crazy.
A company that psychologically targets and manipulates children, with children on.
And the fact that that guy just maybe we probably just skimmed over that. This Jake dude who he didn't have to. Okay. He chose to do it because he was working for Mr. Beast or whatever, to my understanding, to go and do that challenge, to go sit in that room or whatever and be tortured for a month, or like 30 days just to get the footage. To pay off some student loans. Oh, man. Drug those student loans, bruh. What?
Set and frequently participating in videos. He also allowed this man to compete in challenges while wearing a mask, as they gave him a new nickname, or should I say alias, Zorro. Bear with me. During the I spent 24 hours straight in insane asylum video, in which Mr. Beast did not spend 24 hours in any such thing himself, Zorro is a main contestant. However, at 9 minutes and 12 seconds, Mr. Beast himself states, "Don't touch Delaware's cracker," during one of the joking meals that they were given.
He's after my hungry.
Don't touch Delaware's cracker. Don't touch Delaware's cracker.
That simple, innocuous slip presents a very big problem. If Jake Weddle's testimony is accurate, which I believe it is, having compared the height of Delaware, or Zorro, to that of Chandler, as well as eye color, hair color, weight, facial features, etc., it all checks out. If Jake Weddle's testimony is accurate, it means that not only was there a convicted offender working at Mr. Beast, convicted of explicit acts with a victim under the age of 11, by the way, but his nickname was the state in which those crimes occurred, which Mr. Beast himself openly used, simultaneously allowing him to compete in challenges with a mask on, presumably to hide his identity, under yet another alias, seemingly to obfuscate who he was. See the problem? It's a complicated situation, but I want to make something.
Yo, what? See the problem here, dog. Is this like the end of Mr. Beast right here? Dude, this is no way. The destruction of Mr. Beast's media empire. So it's not the destruction of Mr. Beast, it's the destruction of Mr. Beast's media empire? Bro, you said this dude hired a guy that did what with who? At what age was that person? And you're saying Mr. Beast is streaming to who? And this guy worked for Mr. Beast on Mr. Huh? What? Yo, what?
Very clear. I am not the arbiter of who should and shouldn't be allowed to find work or employment. I don't know the full extent of the situation, but I don't think that someone with a known and joked about criminal past of that nature should be a notable person of authority and influence on a YouTube channel with tens of millions of underage followers at the time.
Yo, no, yo, Operation. Dog, this ain't funny, but I'm laughing because he said it, and I said it before he did.
And psychologically exploits children deliberately as their primary audience demographic. That seems like a bad fit.
And I felt kind of bad, so I invited them to our warehouse, and surprisingly, they followed me.
Dude, the weird part is they were like they were in a these fools were in a straight they were in straight jackets in a crazy room with that dude with a mask on. What? Yo, you're saying, yo, this fool. I'm sorry. I'm processing this a little late because I'm not that smart. Yo, the way upper echelon. This is allegedly though. I don't need Mr. P sending nobody at my. I don't need nobody. I mean, but. Yo, this dude upper echelon said, yo, Mr. Beast hired this dude, and he said, no, let's put you in this video in this room. You all have straitjackets with this guy who can't show his face on this video. Of all strangers' kids.
Just to emphasize this, working at Mr. Beast makes you a celebrity to children. You have fans, underage fans, by nature of the very job itself, especially if you participate on camera. Delaware participated on camera, and this is where we need to connect the dots and use our context adult brains, because this no longer appears, in my opinion, to be a simple case where the employer has no idea about the background of the employee and therefore can't really be held accountable for them as a proxy. Combine all of that with a propensity for the secret deletion of evidence, combine it with the Ava Chris Tyson scandal.
That was like the last video. We didn't watch that, but just throwing some context here.
Combine it with everything else we've come to understand over the past few weeks, and I see something that is quite frankly horrifying. Circling back to my original point, if the world's largest influencer, he wasn't the largest at the time of all this, I suppose, but still tens of millions of followers and viral content every single time he posted. If one of the world's largest influencers is employing a man whose nickname is the state he can't go back to because of that particular type of crime, while the influencer jokingly uses that nickname, allows him to wear a mask on set with a code name of Zorro, And that influencer's best friend undergoes a viral scandal over the course of weeks, which involves controversial behavior in a Discord server with minors.
Ava Tyson? I mean,
A Discord server with the influencer who might also be a part of that, by the way. What exactly am I supposed to think here? What is a reasonable conclusion to draw? I've heard from a source that I have not verified completely as of just yet, full disclosure, claiming that MrBeast is directly hiring private investigators to find dirt on the people criticizing him. And while that's mostly relegated to a few central figures, he's allegedly doing this for the purpose of character assassination. If we start seeing crazy stuff come out now about everyone out there who's calling his media empire into question, well, in my mind, that'd be pretty telling. Because so far, the avenue available to him, the avenue where he just fucking apologizes and makes meaningful changes to the predatory structure of his company, seems to be the only avenue he's completely unwilling to go down. In Dogpack 404's video interviewing Jake Weddle, he read a particular paragraph from a document called How to Succeed in MrBeast Productions, titled No Does Not Mean No, which is a
I just heard the words no does not mean no, and I immediately went. When dealing with people outside MrBeast Productions, never take a no at face value. If we need a store to buy everything inside of and you call the local Dollar Tree and the person that answers says no, you can't film here, that literally doesn't mean shit. Talk to other employees and see if any are fans or if any have kids that are fans. Try talking to their boss's boss. Have me DM them on Twitter and try their social team, etc. If after all avenues are exhausted, you're left with a no. Excuse me. That doesn't mean don't try the other Dollar Trees, because the manager of those could be huge fans and willing to bend the rules. Basically, what I'm trying to convey is that what we call pushing through no, or this is what we call, quote, pushing through no, end quote. Don't just stop because one person told you no. Stop when all conceivable options are exhausted, and this is one of many tools that, when combined, dramatically improve your probability of success when producing here. So, like, here's my thing with that. MrBeast wants you to be this, like, this outgoing person and just never accept a no. I mean, it's like, I don't know, man. That's not cool. It doesn't sound cool to me whatsoever. It doesn't sound like something that I would be wanting to have. This is for a video, right? Because he's talking about a Dollar Tree. So, like, hey, I need you to go to all these Dollar Trees and figure out who's a fan, who has kids that watch our show. Let's see if they'll let us film here. That's what I'm getting from this, right? And utilize me as the person to say, hey, I work for MrBeast. If you let us do this, if you bend the rules for us, it says it right here. I'm not making this up. You bend the rules here and allow us to make this video here. We'll put you on somehow, some way, or it'll be beneficial for you somehow, some way. And never to accept no. So once somebody from the cashier, you walk in a cashier, you ask the cashier, hey, can we do this? And the cashier says no. Then you go, okay. And you just say, screw her. And you just go to someone else. And you just keep going like, I don't. I get that's like great for situations where, I mean, you're demanding help. Like you need help. Like someone is being mistreated, something like that. You need to get help. Like someone owes you money, or a company or something like that. You need a refund, or you're not happy with the service or something like that. You go, why the heck? Like, man, I guess you got to do what you got to do, right? That's why he's Mr. Beast and he makes all these videos and he has all the he never, no does not mean no.
Wild thing to have is corporate policy emphasizing the intense pressure that contestants like Weddle would be subjected to routinely, and how the company chooses to build its own atmosphere. However, having been given access to that document for myself, I wanted to read a different paragraph. Quote, "Own your mistakes. I hate excuses and I despise with my entire soul when people just try to save face instead of learn from how they messed up. Mistakes are okay. Genuinely they are, and I expect you to make a lot. That's perfectly fine. Every veteran here has cost me $1 million at one point or another, and you can go ask them yourself if I ever held it over their heads. The reason I'm okay with mess-ups is because I know that's how you learn. I see it as me investing in you and your brain. Hence why I have zero tolerance for C players, and they must go immediately. Those mess-ups could be done by an A player that will retain the information learned. I just beg you that you learn from every mistake and try not to repeat it. That's when it gets annoying. I've never, ever, ever once fired someone on the spot for messing up. You have nothing to be afraid of. Own stuff so we can address how to fix it and then move on." End quote. Those appear to be the words of Jimmy Donaldson, Mr. Beast himself. And I think it's more than fair to say them back to him.
So, what? Did your boy Ava Tyson or whatever and this other guy, did they own up to what they did and you just said, okay, we'll handle that in-house and we'll just keep it going, right? Allegedly. This is what I'm like getting from this. Allegedly, that's seems to be the case. Hey, you do X, Y, and Z. Well, hey, I'm this person. Excuse me, Mr. Beast. Hey, I'm this person. What's up? Hey, I have this issue. Or, what's the issue? I do X, Y, and Z. Oh, okay. Well, you owned up to it, right? Yeah, I owned up to it. Well, let's figure this out. Okay, well, how do we figure this out? Just keep doing it. And we'll try to hide it, right? If it ever comes, which obviously all this stuff's coming out now. So, and what Upper Echelon was kind of bringing up earlier is that in the part 2, I have to do a reaction to. We're not going to do it tonight. There was this information's already getting out there, and there's like a whole them backtracking and deleting stuff. So my whole point of this whole little scenario that I was trying to play out for you is that it seems like Mr. Beast knew about all this, man, about these folks, allegedly, like both of these folks. And since his little corporate policy is, hey, own up to your crap and we'll figure it out, I would assume that at some point he figured out all of this about these two individuals and goes, you know what? Since you owned up to it, because no one's perfect, right? I'm not perfect. You're not perfect. No one's perfect. But you know what? Since you guys owned up to being such sick individuals, I'll keep you on the team and we'll just swipe it under the rug, allegedly. I don't know, man. I mean, like, that's not cool, dog. It's not cool, dog.
Him now. Own your mistakes. Despising with your entire soul when people just try to save face instead of learning from how they messed up is fundamentally incompatible with the mass deletion of evidence regarding alleged illegal lottery streams, which the MrBeast social media team appears to be actively doing right now. Owning your mistakes does not mean manipulation of footage or lying about the competitive nature of your videos, and it certainly doesn't mean obfuscating the identity of a convicted registry offender so that they can work for a child-focused media company. The document contains very strong words from leadership, And I would hope that leadership can also abide by them. Own it. End of the day, I don't know where it all leads because the snowball isn't done rolling yet. There's more, not from me, mind you, more from the veritable army of non-disclosure bound employees who up till now played nice for the sake of protecting their careers. YouTube's golden boy got very big and very powerful, but that only works when the armor you build is impenetrable. And right now, there is stuff piercing the armor. Again, me personally, I have a very small part to play here. I watch, I summarize, and I offer opinions on the much appreciated bravery of company whistleblowers who are taking it upon themselves to expose and potentially dismantle the predatory media empire of the world's largest influencer. It's a heck of a story so far, and it's a heck of a story going forward. I guess we'll find out where it all leads. Do make sure to check out Jake Weddle, the original Dogpack video, and subscribe to both of them as well. But for right now, that's it. If you want to support the channel, check out the links down below. A special VPN deal, big discount there, merchandise, Patreon and locals, monthly memberships, and more, but I'll cut it there and stop rambling. As always, thank you all for watching. Question everything, and have a nice night.
Yo, shout out to Upper Echelon. I'm going to leave that link in the description below for this video. Definitely got some fire content. Very professional. Definitely slide through and let them know